Good evening and welcome to the campus of UW-Whitewater. I'm your host, Sam Matheny, and alongside me is my co-host, Matt Bruzis. Joining us now is our special guest, Coby Brault. But first, we ask you to please excuse our momentary interruption of sports from your regular daily schedule. Guys, let's get right into it. The NFL is in the midst of a historic season. A common theme for the league is season-ending injuries. A lot of young superstars have also had their season cut short, like Dak Prescott, and the most recent being Odell Beckham Jr. on Sunday. Do you think the NFL has done enough to keep its players safe?
I think they have, and I think that they're putting in the necessary personnel to make sure that the players stay safe. They have independent personnel, league-issued personnel, and medical officers on game day to make sure that these injuries are being taken care of, and if there's someone that has maintained a serious injury, they can get help off the field. And I think that this is the nature of the game. Players know the risks at hand when they step in between the white lines, and I think that this is just so how that they are able to put in the techniques for tackling to eliminate the helmet-to-helmet contact, and I think that that's the biggest part of the injuries and where the injuries come from.
And to your point, I completely understand what you're saying, Matt, in the sense that these players are professional athletes. They've been doing this their entire lives, playing football. They know the risks when they step out there. But in this shortened season with the shortened training camps, only one bye week, I think you can 100% blame the NFL for the increase in injuries. This is not a typical season when you're looking at the amount of top players that have gotten hurt. Not even season-ending injuries per se, but you see top running backs such as Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, top receivers, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, the list goes on. All these guys have missed weeks because they did not have enough time in this offseason to get prepared for the season. You can run routes at high schools, you can work out every single day, but nothing compares to game speed when you're running and cutting as hard as you possibly can, and I think that's where the NFL failed these guys.
But guys, these players have been sitting at home for months. Then they're put into a training camp with a limited workout routine. But then they have to play a sport where they go around and hit the living daylights out of people. So you think that this is all based on what's happening? Honestly, I don't think so. I think if they would have been playing at full speed and they would have had that preseason, that there wouldn't have been so many injuries. Yeah,
I think, but the reason they didn't have the preseason was because to eliminate the effect and the spread of COVID. They wanted to have an NFL season for obvious reasons, and I think that since that this was just a freak injury that happened to Dak Prescott. He was sacked many times beforehand and tackled many times beforehand, and his ankle didn't break, or he didn't have an injury to his ankle. Odell Beckham Jr. was tackled many times before then. He even ran away from some guys, and he still didn't get injured. So I think that it's just a freak injury that happened, and it's just, and we see many other guys that are successful and they're still playing in the league, playing successful, not having any injuries. So I think it was just a free accident that happened.
And to your point on that, the NFL started later than both the NBA, who ran a successful restart to the league as well as the playoffs, and the MLB, who's just finishing up their season. So if you're looking at the timing of everything, they had plenty of time to get this right, to get a full preseason in and get at least a full training camp in to get these guys ready to go. They didn't do that, and I think that that's why they're to blame.
And at the end, it's all about safety. I don't care if you think the NFL, honestly, didn't do a good enough job. I mean, quite frankly, it's about what the coronavirus has added to it, and it's added discomfort for the players. It's added less speed when it comes to their practices, their games, and everything else. And next up, we'll discuss Moneyball in the World Series. We'll be right back. Please excuse this commercial break.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
As an Army ROTC cadet at Whitewater, you have the opportunity to develop into a great leader while learning and applying the Army values to your everyday life. Within ROTC, you have the chance to travel overseas in the CULP program to train with other militaries, attend many elite Army schools such as Airborne and Combat Diver, and you have the opportunity to attend conferences and guest lectures by some of the Army's top-ranking officers. Our Warhawk cadets participate in many extracurricular activities, Division III sports, Greek life, intramural sports, among many other team building and community service events. Being a cadet at Whitewater is more than just being part of the Army. It's also about being active members in our community and coming together to form a family atmosphere. Anyone who wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves while developing themselves professionally should consider UW-Whitewater ROTC. To sign up for UW-Whitewater ROTC, go to the 4th floor of McCutcheon Hall to room 417.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website, our 24/7 stream, and like us on Facebook.
Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this quarantine edition of Inside Warhawk Football. I'm your host, Sammy Huggins, and alongside me is head football coach Kevin Bowles. Coach, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, Sam.
As we go into our colder months, what do practices look like, and do they stay the same?
Really stay the same in the sense of what we've been doing for the past 3 weeks. We're in week 4 of what we call our practice modes. And our practices, we have our team split in half. The purple team shows up at 3:35 for practice, and at 4:50 the black team shows up, and the coaches stay on the field, and so we'll stay in that mode here for the next 2 weeks. And ultimately then, after we conclude those 2 weeks, we'll continue to weight lift and train and do conditioning with our players, but we're ultimately this fall we wanted to have 15 practices. By rule, we could have had as many as we wanted to, but we wanted to. Football's a sport you got to be very safe with, so we really approached this as like a spring football season, and so that helps with their strength and speed development as well.
Big Ten football debuted this weekend. Did you happen to catch any games, and if so, how did that make you feel?
You know, it's to me, it's terribly exciting. It's very exciting, and yes, I did get a chance to catch some of the games, and obviously the Badger game for sure. And to me, the thing that's exciting is for us is one, we learn from them. We learn from them, and we learn from them from a football aspect, but also how to manage football in a pandemic period of time. And so, I mean, to me, the exciting thing is to see them manage this and to see how the Big Ten manages it. And that serves as preparation for us this spring.
Well, thank you for being here today, Coach, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
We'll see you then, Samantha.
That was the quarantine edition of Inside Warhawk Football on UWW-TV.
Welcome back to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule. A common problem in the Major League Baseball is the salary cap. This season is special because there's representation from both sides in the World Series. The Tampa Bay Rays are below league average, have the 3rd lowest payroll in all of baseball. However, their opponent, the Los Angeles Dodgers, are on the opposite side. They are way above league average and have the 2nd highest payroll in all of baseball. Is it more important to build a team through the minors, like the Rays did, or do teams need to open up the checkbook like the Dodgers?
I think it really depends on how you look at it. Tampa Bay, their entire payroll is equivalent to what the Dodgers are paying Clayton Kershaw and Mookie Betts, just 2 players. And so, but you're looking at a team like the Dodgers, one of the most iconic franchises in all of sports, not just baseball. A team like Tampa Bay can barely fill their own stadium for home games during, regular seasons. So there's nothing that the Rays can do in that sense. They have to build through the minors versus the Dodgers, who can continue to reload, who can go make these big trades for guys like Mookie Betts and have a high payroll every single year. Which one's better? I mean, I think you're seeing the fruition of both. However, you look in the last few years, a team like the Nationals, not a big market team. Teams before that, if the teams with the highest payroll won every single year, then the Yankees would be world champions every year, and we just don't see that.
Yeah, and I think it also goes to a team like the Brewers or even the Houston Astros, like last year, or even in this postseason, they're playing with house money. They were like, well, if we win the game by 1 run, why does it matter what the payroll is? As long as we win games and we're successful, we can be a dominant team in the league. But this is also, I'm also for the Tampa Bay Rays because of how they build their team. This is how they want to be successful. This is how they want to build that culture. And I think that This is how you develop young talent. And you then ask the question, because then if you do have some money left over, you can get an impact free agent, and you can get a guy who can then come in and mentor young guys and also be an impact player to prevail you to success. This is how you roll. This is how you fill out depth guys. And I think this is what Tampa Bay Rays are doing is really good.
But the problem is that we don't care what these other teams have. It's all about the money at the end of the day. And if you have a team that's making more money, it's because they're bringing in more revenue. It's not because they're not doing as much. And when they talk about salary cap, I think that's huge, because I think that it just depends on what you bring to the table. And if your team doesn't bring in more money, that's their fault.
And to your point on that, the Major League Baseball is the only professional sports league that does not have a hard cap, at least in America. The reason that works, the reason that we're talking about a fairness here, it is fair because a team like the Rays can get to the World Series simply by building up prospects, trading away their good talent when contracts are expiring, and a team like the Dodgers can get here almost every year by paying for the equivalent to the entire Rays payroll for just 2 guys. It works both ways, and I think that that's the reason that you haven't seen a shift to a hard cap, is because it works both ways. Because like I said before, if it was unfair, the Yankees would have won the last 5, 6, 7 World Series. Consistently, the Dodgers and the Yankees are 1 and 2 when it comes to payroll, and the Yankees haven't won a World Series in a decade. Dodgers even longer than that. So I think it's more than fair.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays are adapting to the new changes that come into the league, and I think that they're doing it in great ways because they're getting talent. Kevin Kiermaier, Gold Glove winner. They have a Cy Young winner, and I think they have great pitching. So I think it complements to their success. They build to the culture, and they're able to win games.
Next up, we're going to discuss an NFL player getting another chance. We'll be back after the break.
The UC can get you connected to all your basic needs. Grab a coffee and a meal. Study by the fireplace. Bowl, play, and relax when you want a break from homework. The UC has much more to offer to Whitewater students. Go to the UC's website to see what's going on this week.
Here at UW-Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on! That's it anyways. Oh, she got that off. They're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
Video One Media Services provides accomplished students the opportunity to enhance their college experience by working with real-world clients. In addition, we provide clients local and affordable video options to better enhance their media needs. For more information on how Video One Media Services can help you with your next media project, email or call our office at 262-472-5659.
It has been taking away our potential for decades, but since 2009, campuses nationwide are becoming tobacco-free. Tobacco has been eliminated from bars, restaurants, and many other public places. Why should our schools be any different? For more information, visit the Ambrose Health Center.
I'm Dominic Ottens, and this is your UWW-TV Sports Update. The Wisconsin Badgers beat Illinois 45-7 and will travel to Nebraska on Saturday. Starting quarterback Graham Mertz is awaiting results of a possible positive COVID-19 test. The team is awaiting further word if he can return to play or if he's going to miss the next 3 games. The Detroit Lions had a comeback win versus the Falcons on Sunday, 23-22. The Lions are now 3-3 on the season and will play at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Northwestern Wildcats had an impressive win over Maryland by a score of 43-3 last Saturday. They will play at Iowa this upcoming Saturday. And we'll have more sports for you right after this.
Welcome to the University Bookstore. The University Bookstore provides students with the opportunity to purchase apparel, gift items, textbooks, snacks, supplies, and other necessities right here on campus. The bookstore is also home to textbook rental, where you can find many of your required textbooks. Our friendly staff always goes the extra mile to provide customers with a quick and pleasant experience. Visit the bookstore today to find great deals on everything you need to succeed as a Warhawk.
Green Bay Packers were victorious over the Houston Texans 35-20 on Sunday. 5-1 Packers will return home to play the Vikings this upcoming Sunday. The Michigan Wolverines are coming off a 49-24 win over Minnesota and will play in-state rival Michigan State for the Paul Bunyan Trophy on Saturday. Minnesota lost to Michigan 49-24 on Saturday. The Golden Gophers will play at Maryland on Friday night to open the second weekend of Big Ten play. For more updates, stay tuned to UWW-TV. Check us out at uwwtv.org or tune into the 24-hour stream service at reslife.uw.edu/stream. I'm Dominic Ottens, and this has been your sports update on UWW-TV.
Welcome back to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule. Antonio Brown is back in the NFL after signing a 1-year deal to join a familiar teammate, Tom Brady, down in Tampa Bay. Brown was cut last season by the Raiders and by the Patriots after playing 1 game. Do you guys think Brown is signed with the right team? Is he a good fit?
I think he does not. I think he's a good player, and I'm all for second chances, and especially the caliber of Antonio Brown because he's an impact and a dynamite playmaker, but not with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, and 2 Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. Antonio Brown is a guy who's going to want touches, yards, receptions, and especially wins, and the Buccaneers have been winning, but I think that Antonio Brown will want more than his role is accepted, and I don't think he can have that in this locker room, especially how the way the Bucs have been rolling. I think that they are good just the way they are.
Matt, I could not disagree with you more. You look at Antonio Brown, if he wanted more touches, if he wanted to be the main guy, he could have gone to any team in the league. Any team in the league would want Antonio Brown. The Seahawks were the front runner for most of the time. He would have been the number 2 receiver with Lockett. And they also have DK Metcalf. But for him to come to Tampa Bay, it was clearly to reunite with Brady. Brady wanted him there, and Bruce Arians is taking this chance on him because whether Antonio Brown gets 2 targets per game or 20 targets a game, he's going to have an impact. He's that good. And, you know, he's had his off-the-field stuff, but when he's been on the field, he's been productive, particularly last season with the Patriots when in 2 games he had the 2 touchdowns with Brady. So I would say that he is a great fit for Tampa, and if they want him and he wants to be there, then I don't really see what could go wrong.
No, he's not a good fit for Tampa Bay, and he's not a good fit for any team in the league. He's like Ebola with hands and feet. Like, nobody wants him around. First, he sat out because he didn't want to use a safer helmet because of the vision it gave him. Then he had a problem with the GM of the Raiders, and now hasn't played a game since 2019, and he played 1 game and caught 4 passes. I don't think he's ready at all.
I think Tom Brady is, if anyone can get Antonio Brown right, it'll be Tom Brady because of his leadership role. But look at what he was on the Steelers before Juju got there. He was the main guy. He got the targets, and everything was fine. He was good. He was all squared away with Ben Roethlisberger and his relationship. But as soon as Juju came on the scene, it all blew up, and I think that that's when Antonio Brown fell because there's other wide receivers in the picture.
You look at Antonio Brown, and the thing is, he's not the first superstar wide receiver to, have off-the-field issues, things of that nature. However, when you look at pure talent, he was at his best since he left Pittsburgh. He was at his best with Tom Brady, and I think that he'll be great in Tampa Bay.
Next up, we'll have our predictions for the biggest games of the week. We'll be back after the break.
What does it mean to be a Warhawk?
It means allowing myself to dream big and think outside the box.
Pushing the limits of what I think is possible.
Seeing ideas through from start to finish.
Collaborating with professors and peers.
And seizing opportunities in the community to put my knowledge to use.
I'm studying abroad,
learning another language,
and listening to the stories of others.
I'm making lifelong friends and fearlessly sharing my gifts with the world.
As a Warhawk, I stay balanced,
take great care of myself,
and get out of my comfort zone.
I refuse to let the past determine my future.
And I'm taking confident steps in the direction of my dreams.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
And other times it couldn't be more exciting.
But I will keep my goals in mind
and never quit.
Because
that's the Warhawk way.
Turn us on. Flip them off. 91.7 WSUW. 91.7 is a student-run radio station serving the Whitewater area with a variety of original programs, live sports broadcasting, community events, and more. So turn us on. 91.7 FM. Or stream us live at 917theedge.com.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
Welcome to the University Bookstore. The University Bookstore provides students with the opportunity to purchase apparel, gift items, textbooks, snacks, supplies, and other necessities right here on campus. The bookstore is also home to textbook rental, where you can find many of your required textbooks. Our friendly staff always goes the extra mile to provide customers with a quick and pleasant experience. Visit the bookstore today to find great deals on everything you need to succeed as a Warhawk.
Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to give our predictions. There are a few good rivalry matchups this week in the NFL. Let's start with the border battle, the Green Bay Packers versus the Vikings. Coby, we know that the guests are 1-8 on this show so far. Who do you have for this matchup?
And I really appreciate you guys giving me such an easy game to pick. This is the CB Guarantee of the Week. Packers. If sports gambling was legal in Wisconsin, which it is not, but if it was, I would bet my grocery money for the next month on the Packers. Packers are going to roll this week.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Packers get it done. Aaron Rodgers looked really good in that last week, coming back, getting Devontae Adams involved. I think it's the Devontae Adams show. The defense gets it done. Big stops when needed. Packers win.
Yeah, I have the Packers as well. I think it's not going to be close. I think they're going to trample all over the Vikings. And guys, with the AFC North matchup, we have the speedy Lamar Jackson versus the old Big Ben. Who do you guys have, the Steelers or the Ravens?
I have the Ravens this week, actually. I know the Steelers are the last undefeated team in the NFL, but every week in the AFC North is an absolute battle. The Ravens are tested. The Ravens are one game away from the Super Bowl last year. Last year they were one game away, and I think they get it done this week against their bitter rival, the Steelers.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Ravens do get it done like last week. Kyler Murray knocking off the previous unbeaten Seahawks. I think Lamar Jackson gets it done at home, division game. These division games are always tough. I think the Ravens and the Steelers will have a defensive battle. I think the Ravens come out on top, though.
I'm going to disagree. I think Big Ben knows what he's doing. I'm glad he's back after his gruesome injury last year. I have the Steelers winning this game. And for our last game, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes in college football against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Who do you have?
I have Ohio State all day. It's another year, but it's the same story for Penn State. They're frauds. Every year they ranked in the top 10 to start the season. Every year they lose to a team they have no business losing to. They did it early this season, losing last week against Indiana. Ohio State looked great against Nebraska. Give me Ohio State all day.
Yeah, Penn State really did not come out well against Indiana, losing a dud, and they had hopes for the college football playoff. That probably won't happen. Ohio State looks focused and poised. Justin Fields looks like a Heisman candidate. They have their sights set on that rematch with Clemson, but they're going to stay focused on the regular season and get it done against Penn State.
Yeah, I have Ryan Day all day, like they say with AP. I'm really excited to see the Buckeyes from the Ohio State University take this win as well. And that'll do it for us here tonight. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time to hear more hot takes all around the world of sports. This has been Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule on UWW-TV.